Alrighty, guys, Andrew Bobros here. Hey, I want to do a real quick video on Austin Ekeler, giving you a bit of an update of what's going on with Austin, where we're sitting, where we're going with him. And I wanted to also highlight a video that the Los Angeles Chargers did breaking down Kellen Moore's offense at the Cowboys. Really great video. You guys need to check it out. So let's get into it. All right, folks, as always, like and subscribe. Again, we're all over all the social medias, the tubes, as you can see, Instagrams, the Twitters, all the above, right? So we are pretty much everywhere on social media. So definitely check us out. And obviously, check out our merch store. Link in the description below if you're interested. We got some interesting things coming out as well as far as merch is concerned. So patches, all kinds of other things, some more hats, pretty cool hats as well. You've seen those a million times on our channel. But let's first go through, let me share my screen. This YouTube video is absolutely incredible. I've watched it a number of times, and Brett Coleman does a great job breaking down what Kellen Moore did really in the running game. It's going to be a two-part series. So it's going to be the running game, and it's also going to talk about the passing game next, which is going to be amazing. Now, I bring this up because, one, it's in a fantastic video. It's awesome the way they break down, the way Kellen Moore will attack a defense, right? He's aggressive, and he's going to go after it. Now, anyways, it's awesome the way he breaks it down. He breaks down how I think our offense is going to run moving forward next season. Again, Kellen Moore has been quoted many times by saying he just wants to light up the scoreboard, and I think he will, right? There's the whole point of him coming over. I think he's the right offensive mind for the job. This video highly brings that into light. So take a look at it. Link is in the description below, guys. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing. Let's talk about Austin Ekeler for a second here, right? And I think this is really important to discuss Austin Ekeler and where he's at right now. And I think it's, how should I word this? Austin Ekeler clearly tested the market, and he got punched in the face, right? We're going to go through some of the free agents here in a little bit, but I kind of want to talk about Austin Ekeler, and we'll talk about some of the other free agents. There's a couple folks on that list that are pretty interesting. But I mean, there's a lot of people that are still available in the running back position, and none of them are getting signed. I mean, a few are. I think Jamal Williams got signed by the Saints, and a few other folks, right? But again, guys, running backs' values have just really dropped, and it's sad because Austin Ekeler's a great guy. Now, there's a couple of other YouTube videos, Ian Rappaport and all these other people have come out and said, look, in a weird way, Austin Ekeler is kind of the victim of his own success, right? You got to remember, he was an undrafted free agent, right? And he stepped up, became one of the best running backs in the league. So the league does not value running backs. They just think, well, let's not pay him a ton of money. We're putting money into the wide receiver group, and we could just go get an undrafted free agent this season we like and put him in the slot. And who knows? So we already got a running back last season, Isaiah Spiller. We haven't even seen what he can do. And quite frankly, his upside might even be higher than Austin Ekeler. No disrespect to Austin. We're really appreciative of what he's done. But at the end of the day, that's where the league is looking at running backs moving forward. And so it's a little bit frustrating. So he had this interview with the Sirius XM Fantasy Radio just recently, and ultimately he came out and said, he wants a long-term contract. Right? He's 20. He'll be 28 when the season starts, which is old for running backs. And, as he says, I kind of got punched in the face when the Chargers said basically, hey, we don't want to talk about extensions anymore. Now, let me be very clear about something. There was a few things that were discussed on Ian Rappaport, and also I'm drawing a blank on, what's his name? Phil Simms talked about it. And what's the guy that's always on there with Phil Simms? Anyways, he started talking about how apparently last season, and Ian Rappaport did say this as well too, that last season the Chargers really wanted to extend Ekeler for another couple of years. And Ekeler essentially said, no, we'll talk later. And, let me prove myself this season. And then we'll go from there, which is kind of a dumb thing to say. You got to wonder, all those negotiations, and it happened last season. So we'll never really know what happened there. But at the end of the day, he probably should have gotten his extension then because the money was available, right? He didn't. And so now he's stuck in a position where there's no money available, and we got a big person to sign in Justin Herbert long term. So again, he's kind of a victim of his own success in one sense, but the other sense is that he's also in a position where he kind of put himself in a bad position. He should have taken the money when it was available. But again, this is ultimately what he said in his recent interview. I think it was yesterday. He said, "This organization, I've continued to rise to new heights and continue to add more value. Says I felt like, wow, this is the first time in my career that I feel disrespected by my own organization." Now, I think he's at that stage now where he realized that they have passed him all over the league and nothing has come up. Nothing. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, that's where the league is at right now with running backs. And when you start hitting 28, 29, 30, statistically speaking, those contracts do not play out well for running backs because they get hurt, they get injured. And again, we all know Austin Ekeler's workouts routine. The guy is an absolute beast in the weight room. He does everything it needs to be. So my prediction, and I've said this from day one during this entire trade conversation, he will be a Charger next season. He just will. I just don't believe that he will not be a Charger next season. And, continuing on, he says, "It sucks. I want to be a Charger." Look, you're going to be a Charger. Again, he has one more year on his contract. He does need to either play it out. You remember Melvin, Gordon, right? Who he didn't want to play out his contract. He sat out, lost a ton of value, just bounced around the league at that point, never really did anything. But again, at the end of the day, I just really hope that doesn't work out that same way for Austin Ekeler, right? So, and let's just look at the list of free agents, right, that are still out there. I won't pull it up at this point, but you got Devontae Freeman. He's headed to the Bears, 1-year contract, right? Devin Singletary, 1-year deal, $3.7 million to the Texans per Adam Scheffler. Damian Harris, I don't think has been signed just yet. Harris is struggling. Kareem Hunt is still on the market. Jamal Williams just signed with the Saints. David Montgomery, 1-year, $18 million deal, which is ridiculous. I can't even believe they're paying him that much money. But again, the Bears have a lot of money to spend. Miles Sanders signing 4-year deal with the Panthers, which kind of surprised me as well, too, $25 million, which is still not a lot of money for what he was getting paid originally. Tony Pollard, franchise tag with Cowboys. Josh Jacobs, plan to place a franchise tag on Josh Jacobs, which makes sense. Saquon Barkley have placed a non-franchise tag on Barkley, right? So it's an interesting breakdown. There's still running backs out there. And this is a very deep running back class, guys. That's the other part of the problem, right? How many people, I promise you come on any of our live chats, people talk about two things, Austin Ekeler and Bijan Robinson. Clearly, that's all we are talking about. And look, we got a pretty good running back in Austin Ekeler, and he is our guy anyways, right? So the argument is, well, do we trade him off or not, right? So let me bring up one article that I found was really interesting, and I really kind of sat back and was like, wow, is this what we're looking at moving forward? So I found a really interesting article here on the Bills fan-sided, and this is also the other article right here, Ian Rappaport, talking a lot about Austin Ekeler's situation. From now, after several attempts with the Chargers to work out a deal, he's now permission to see trades discussed as we discussed. Now, the Bills, this article illustrates 3 trade options with the Bills. Now, whether it happens or not, who knows, right? Again, everyone knows Austin Ekeler's potential. He's absolutely fantastic. This is a really good one right here. One of the 3 following trades the Bills land Austin Ekeler. I would take this in a heartbeat. As much as we like Austin Ekeler, this would be incredible, right? We get our edge, AJ Espinoza. Sorry, I said that wrong. And then we get a 2023 third-round pick and a 2024 fifth-round pick. Now, I don't know if I love this, but again, it gives us an edge rusher, which is good, and it gives us another pick in the 3rd round and then something that we're building into next year, which is not bad, right? So, Espinoza's last year as a contract kind of makes sense for the Bills to potentially trade off. But we'll see. Trade number 2 option. Bills get Austin Ekeler, and they get a 6th-round pick. And then we get a 2nd-round pick this year, which would be number pick 59. That might not be bad as well, too, right? Because bottom line, I think there's going to be a lot of value in the 2nd round this draft. And the amount of offensive linemen, as my brother has discussed, offensive linemen, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, all these different things. We need more picks, right? And again, the 6th round, you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to figure some things out, but you can definitely get a starter of the 2nd round. So I kind of like this idea as well, too. To me, what I'd rather see Austin Ekeler in a 2nd-round pick. That's probably what I think it would land with these guys, and that would make some sense. Trade number 3, which doesn't really make a ton of sense, it would just be a running back to running back. We get James Cook, and they get Austin Ekeler. Don't really know why or how that pick makes any sense to me at all, but okay. I think, but the one thing, we sit back and think about with Austin Ekeler here, really, and we'll wrap up here. Look, Austin Ekeler is going to be a Charger next season. I think it's still interesting conversation to talk about with the Chargers, what they're going to do, what they're not going to do. But at the end of the day, Chargers are going to be there. They'll be most likely continuing to work with Austin Ekeler and doing everything he needs to do, being a Charger. So as always, Andrew Boltbros, see you guys in the next one.